Welcome to Jefferson Liberty Radio, the voice of the state of Jefferson in the Central Valley of California. I am Matthew, and I will be your host for this episode. We have a great interview coming up with Amy Bublak, who is a mayoral candidate for Turlock, one of 3. But first, if you're interested in sponsoring our show, you can head over to jeffersonlibertyradio.com or email us at sponsors@jeffersonlibertyradio.com. We would love to have your support on our show. Alright, well, let's jump right over to that interview with Amy. Alrighty, well, I am here with Amy Bublak, mayoral candidate for Turlock. Hey, thanks, Amy, for taking the time out of your busy schedule.
Oh, I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I came here in 1983 for college and just loved it. Stayed here, commuted back and forth from Richmond as a police officer.
Oh, wow.
Then once I was married, my husband had this crazy idea that we were going to live together. So I had to end up moving to Modesto Police.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're running for mayor.
I am.
What is your political background? You're obviously a sitting city council member.
Yeah, so when I was at Stanislaus, I was a 2-time student body president, and I kind of got that bug, if you will. And in 1989, I was given the key to the city because I had started Good Neighbor Day, which is kind of like Love Turlock is now. So I was a little ahead of everybody. And then I was on the Arts Commission in the early 90s. Okay. And then I was on the Planning Commission when I lost the 2006 election for city council. So I served 2 years and then ran again and finally won. Okay.
Oh, wow. Cool. So tell me why you're running for mayor.
I'm just of the opinion that the leadership that we have now is not adequate, and it's not the style that this community deserves. And our employees deserve better. And it's time for somebody to step up and be an experienced leader who will make decisions and also step back at times and let other people make decisions.
So what do you see are some of the biggest problems that the city faces going into the next couple of years?
Well, we have a huge turnover rate with our employees. Statistically, I don't know exact numbers, but somewhere in the neighborhood of probably close to 400 in the last 3.5 years. We've had turnover, and a lot of them are part-time. Don't get me wrong, but at least 100 of them were full-time people, and that's just not acceptable. That we should be a city, and we've always been previously a city that people wanted to work for and enjoyed being a part of the community, and they actually would reside here as well. Not so much now, and I can't deal with our employees not being happy, and that was one of the impetuses. People from within the city of Turlock employees were asking me, please run, because we know you'll be fair and that you'll stand up for us to have our creativity and let us do our job and let the city manager actually be their boss.
So what do you see as a solution to retaining those employees?
First and foremost, no more micromanaging. We can't breathe over people's backs. They need the opportunity to know that we trust them. And not to mention, they're not actually our employees per se. We technically hire and fire a city manager and a city attorney. No one else. It's the city manager's job, should we get one, and we should have one shortly here, to handle the department heads and then as it goes down the line. I am not an expert in every department, and nor do I want them to think I am. I'd love to have some input or suggestion on occasion, but I don't need to tell them how to do their job. Otherwise, they're going to go somewhere else, as we've seen.
Yeah. So one of the things that we also seen is the police department needs rebuilding. How would you solve that?
So when I was on council in 2008, we had a huge problem with the economy, but we were able to build up our police department right after that. We started building it up, making sure that we had enough police officers on the streets, because quality of life issues and crime, etc., are important. I mean, that's what residents want, to know that they're safe in their homes and in their environment. So we actually set it up and had a plan, and we were achieving it. And then somehow in the last few years, people are just leaving. And I don't want to blame anybody for that. I just want to say that there's a lot of different reasons, but we have to listen to that. We can't just keep going, oh, well, and move on. We did pass last night a pretty good salary increase for them, And so we'll hopefully be able to have more dialogue as we progress through the next couple of years.
Awesome. So another thing that's been a significant issue is water. What are your plans for water issues in Turlock going forward?
Well, I was on the water committee, the SRWA, Stanislaus Regional Water Authority, pre-Soy Seth Mayor. And at that time, the dialogue was just happening. So I'll give him credit for carrying it forward, but it was supposed to be about $150 million, the cost, and now it's like $300 million. That means that the taxpayers are going to have a significant increase. And whether he's able to go and get $30 million for the cost to be, downsized a little bit, that's to be shared with TID and with the city of Ceres. So it is a little bit, but it's not enough when we also know that in the next couple of years, we're going to face another problem with the state of California. So if they increase it or decrease the amounts you can use, there's going to be an increase in rate. So if it's going to be double to triple now without the conversation of the state, I don't see how people can afford it. There are many people on fixed incomes, and that concerns me. So I really think we need to step back and see if we need the Taj Mahal or if we can do this just a little downsized so that it's acceptable to taxpayers. We do need it, but I don't know that we need that much put into it.
Another thing is roads and Measure L. What are your plans surrounding that? Obviously, we have $2.6 million or something like that that we're supposed to be using for roads.
Right, and so we're getting some roads taken care of, but the major thoroughfares for the most part, and a few residential. It's a start. It's not a fix. When I voted no on the Measure L, my point is that we can't ask the public, the taxpayers, to give us more money when we haven't used any of it to earmark it. It's just a weird set in my mind that you ask the taxpayers for money, you try and use it, and then if that doesn't work, you say, look, I need more. Mm-hmm. But we haven't allocated since early 1980s. And that's just not acceptable because it's a huge priority to people. So what I would like to do is to actually, with our huge WISP area, or TRIP as they call it now, if we can earmark the economy, the revenue that we get as we bring in more business, specifically a certain amount every year from that will go to roads, we can start tripping away a little bit more at the roads. Otherwise, we're just going to keep doing major thoroughfares and a little bit here and there. It's not ever going to solve everything, but I think it's a better stance for Turlock to say, yes, we personally are doing something.
Yeah. So in 2015, there was missing chamber money. Do we have any idea on what happened with that?
It'd be hard to say. The contract wasn't written with specificity to give us a full understanding. And so I think there was some poor bookkeeping, for lack of better terms, with no blame associated. It happens that's not everybody's forte. We should have been monitoring it for the full 9 years that we went and looked at it. It's shame on us, the city, for not. But having said that, I think when it came to a discussion of, okay, we need to know what you're spending it on so we can anticipate if we should put more in something or take it away. And we couldn't get that fix. We didn't know where that number was or how they came to their numbers. And it's a sad thing because what we've really lost in the last 3.5 years are partnerships. And that was a good partnership. But we also have to be very accountable for the taxpayers' money at the end of the day. So I think we're starting to build it back up. The partnership, at least with the chamber, it was on the agenda and it was pulled, but it should come up on the 26th of July to kind of go over each of the issues that has been stemming for many years and put everything to bed and start to rejuvenate our relationship.
Last night, something that came up was the SB 54 resolution. What are your thoughts on such a resolution?
Well, I haven't seen what the mayor's going to put on the agenda, and typically don't until a few days before. We don't really have a heads up. I've seen others. I get what people want. I also heard loud and clear what the other side was saying. I'm a law and order person, so I'm going to always, say, okay, what we have to do what we have to do to make sure everybody's safe. I don't know what that means in this resolution. I don't know if it'll make the agenda, quite frankly.
Okay. One of the things that, as a group and myself personally, are significantly concerned about in the state of California are gun rights. What are some of the things that you would be able to do and would do as mayor to protect our Second Amendment rights?
Absolutely nothing. That's up to the police chief. We can't enforce the police chief to agree or disagree with that. It's their name behind it, and at this time it's his name behind it. He can either authorize people to have their concealed or not, but we have no influence in that. And obviously, I'm capable of carrying and allowed to carry lawfully. So
yeah, one of the things that came up in Illinois was actually the Deerfield police that was actually being ordered by the city council or mayor, I believe, to actually go confiscate guns. I believe they were ARs. Is that something that you would support or not?
Absolutely not. I'm not going to overstep my abilities and my responsibilities as the mayor or the hopeful mayor of Turlock in the November election. My expectation is that we're hiring the right people to be our police chief. And at that point, that's their responsibility. And I'm not going to, even as a 23-year vet police officer, I am not going to tell him how to do his job. And I don't think a council member should. I don't expect that they would probably go out and seek that. That's not something a normal chief, typically a chief would do. Having said that, Illinois and California rules are so different. Maybe their rules are okay to do that.
Yeah. We're obviously, I believe I mentioned to you earlier, we're from the state of Jefferson.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the state of Jefferson, and is this something that you would support?
I actually haven't really researched it. I know that sounds really crazy. I've just kind of let it go by and focused on trying to do what Turlock's doing. And so I don't want to step on anybody's toes and say, oh, I don't like this or I like this. I think the dialogue's always healthy. We should always be trying to look at different aspects and change things or at least introduce the idea of change. Sometimes that's not what people want, and other times people are totally embracing that. So I think it's still a dialogue that needs to be had, and obviously I need to look into it a little bit more.
Well, I skipped a question, and you may not be able to exactly answer everything, but farmers market back a couple of years ago, what exactly happened there?
I'm not sure. I went out the Monday before the meeting, the council meeting. I met in Merced with some people and we discussed what could or couldn't happen. And I am a strong proponent of never making my mind up until after public comment. And so I left there telling them I'm not sure what I'll do because I want to see the final presentations. And in my mind, I was basically thinking if the new person couldn't provide anything different, significantly, there'd be no reason to take it away from somebody. And I got back in my car and they had pulled out. So we never got to the position to do it. And I hear later that they felt as if people had implied that the vote was already done, that they weren't going to get it. And I can assure you, in my 9.5 years, I've never made my mind up in advance. In fact, at times I thought maybe I did, and I've changed my mind just listening. And if we go back, there's the code of conduct for our council members and our mayor. It says there that if staff opens up an agenda item, that it's only allowing us to ask questions. We're not to offer any opinion. It's to be opinion after the public comment. And I am the only one who honors that. It's a normal verbiage for the mayor to say, do you have any comments or questions? Mm-hmm. And I always say, I will after them. I want that dialogue to be there. People are really scared to come forward on occasion to speak, right? They wait, and it's like, this is so important to me, but they count the votes because they're hearing their opinions, and they just sit there. And that's not healthy, because it could be something that would sway the council members or the mayor's vote.
Yeah. Well, I thank you very much for taking time out of your, again, busy schedule. Where can people find out more about you, and how can they get in touch with you?
Well, they can definitely call me at 209-346-9344. They can contact me through my Facebook, Amy Bublak, or even through my A Bublak, Bublak, at yahoo.com. I have a website, and I want to talk to you. If people have questions, I want them to ask me. It's the only way we'll find out. And I'd rather tell you the truth now and not get your vote than lie to you and feel like I've done something wrong, because my integrity is all I have at the end of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would again like to thank Amy Bublak for taking the time to do that interview with us. We really appreciate it. It is now time to turn it over to Aaron. Aaron, tell us about our latest events.
So now it's that time of the show when we announce our upcoming events for the Stanislaus Concerned Citizens, State of Jefferson. We meet at 5:30. From 5:30 to 6, we do SOJ updates and any current news for SOJ, regarding SOJ. And at 6 o'clock, we typically have a guest speaker or some kind of special event. Anyway, June 30th, we're having a Fly Out Friday at the Garden Cafe on Whitmore Avenue in Ceres from 3 to 6 p.m. So bring your flag, bring your sign, chair, and let's have some fun. No meeting on July 4th due to the 4th of July, so that Wednesday is out, so have fun with celebrating with your friends and family. July 5th, we're going to be meeting on Thursday rather than the 4th of July. So July 5th, keep that in mind. So anyway, we're going to be doing the history of SOJ and how you can get involved. So come on down and learn what to say about SOJ, how to talk with a liberal who might have opposing views. And we're going to teach you all you need to know about SOJ. July 7th, we're going to have our Stanislaus State of Jefferson Potluck, first annual. We're going to be at the Whitmore Park on the corner of Bowen Road and College Avenue. Join us at 11 a.m. if you could. Bring your favorite dish or a salad or a dessert to share, and bring your own drinks. Bring your chairs, and let's have a good time. We're going to have drawings for some cool prizes. Also, coming up, the fair. We're going to have on July the 9th, training for the fair. So please, please come. If you're working at the fair, then come at 6 p.m. to the Grizzly Rock Cafe in Turlock at the corner of Taylor Road and Golden State, at the Taylor Road exit in Turlock. And so we'll be doing training. Learn how to say what you need to say about SOJ and how to use the Square card reader and merchandise sales and so on. So then, after the fair comes, after the fair ends, which it runs from July the 13th through the 22nd. So come on down and see us. We have 2 booths side by side. So we're going to be doing a lot of things there. A lot of merchandise. So shirts, hats, and you name it, stickers. You got it right there. Then after the fair, July the 25th, we're going to have Eric Eisenhammer from the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. We'll be meeting at 5:30 with the update on SOJ, and Eric Eisenhammer is going to speak on SOJ, and he's going to speak to us about taxes and such here in California. August the 1st, we're going to do disaster training with Dave Ofwano from FEMA, and we're going to be doing this at the Wesley Hotel in Wesley. We'll be sending out more information on a sign-up in the next month, so please make sure you're on our email list. It's very important. You can sign up on that list at www.stanislausconcernedcitizens.org. August 15th, SOJ at 5:30 p.m., and then our special speaker that night at 6 p.m. will be Donald Bobadelier. He'll be speaking to us on what's happening in America and how that affects you. You won't want to miss this. Anyway, one more update about the fair, 13th through the 22nd, and what we're going to have coming up in the Senior Citizens Hall in Mariposa is going to be their first town hall ever. There in Mariposa, Dave Titchnell is going to be the speaker. Doors open at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. doors open. 7 p.m. the town hall begins. So if you can make it, if you're in Mariposa County, please come on down and hear what they have to say about what Dave has to say about SOJ. It's really cool. Anyway, back to Matthew.
Thanks, Aaron. This episode has been sponsored by Owls Certified Safe & Lock. Owls offers locksmithing services and alarm systems for a range of applications including burglary, fire, tamper, medical emergencies, and much more. Owls has been locally owned and managed in Modesto for nearly 70 years, and with thousands of loyal and satisfied customers, you can be sure that Owls will meet and exceed your needs. For more information, call 1-800-700-4780 or go to owlsalarm.com. That's ALSALARM.com. Thank you so much to Owl Certified Safe and Lock for sponsoring our show. We would love to hear from you. You can email us at feedback@jeffersonlibertyradio.com or via our website, again, jeffersonlibertyradio.com. We would love to hear your questions and comments. If you wouldn't mind leaving us a 5-star review, we would absolutely appreciate it, and it really does help our ratings. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and even alternative media such as BitChute and Gab. We're trying to branch out a little bit. We're not really sure where Facebook and YouTube might be going. You can also find us on the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, even alternative media such as BitChute or Gab. We're trying to branch out a little bit because we're not sure where YouTube, Twitter, Facebook might be landing. So find us on all of those. We'll leave links in the description. As always, thank you so much for listening. We appreciate the support of listeners just like you, and we will catch you next episode.